It's Fans Corner. Welcome to it, and thank you for making time for us. We are back. I don't know where, which competition should I mention, because we've just watched a number of football games from different competitions. So I'm gonna touch here and there, here and there. Um, the whole Saturday, I've just been watching football games since the afternoon, from European football all the way to African football. So yeah, it's been Champions League, CAF Champions League, CAF Confederations Cup, together with the Betway Premiership. So I'm going to touch on a few games here and there. I could not make a video for each game that was played because I would have missed a lot, because shooting this content takes time. So it also takes time to edit. So I felt, let me just rather do one video where I wrap up everything all in one, especially from the South African perspective, whoever is interested in South African football and African football as well. So yeah, if you haven't, before we go into the games themselves, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you give us your subscription on our YouTube channel. The name of the channel is Off Air Podcasts. If you're watching us from YouTube, please just click on the subscribe button. I've seen that 80% of the people who consume our content are not subscribers. Imagine what we could do with those numbers. Please click on the subscription button, and also click on the like button. Like our content so that it can help us with the algorithm there. Also check us out on Facebook. It's Fans Corner, and also on TikTok it's Fans Corner. That's where we put our short videos, but the long format of our videos are found on our YouTube channel. Back into for the football now. The first game that I watched was the Orlando Pirates. Unfortunately, I could only watch one half of that game because of the other European games, like the English Premiership had a number of games as well. And yeah, so the Pirates won. It was Champions League game. They won 3-0 against the Lesotho side. That pretty much puts them there into the next round, because this is a knockout kind of a situation. They have to. It's a two-legged knockout stage before they go into the main phase of the Champions League. So I'm pretty much sure Pirates should be able to see that off now, with the 3-0 that they take into the second half, to the second leg. Away goals as well. They were playing the game in Bloemfontein, because you know what, with Lesotho, they don't have a stadium that is CAF accredited. So Lesotho has to play some of their teams from Lesotho, whether the national team, you've seen the national team playing some of their games in Bloemfontein, and also their local teams there, Dioli FC. I know it's written with an L. It looks like Loli. What is it? Yeah. Dioli FC. These are the reigning champions of Lesotho Premier League. Yeah, they played that game in Bloemfontein, and they lost by 3 goals to 0. 3 goals to 0. Pirates coming strong there. I could not see any of those goals. I just saw the scoreline because I only watched the first half, and I think they went into the halftime. The game went to halftime goalless. So all 3 goals were scored in the second half by Sekhukhune Mabasa, and I think he had a brace, and what is this? I almost said Zakele. Apolis scoring the 3rd goal there. Good for Orlando Pirates. I think it kind of wraps up everything for. They should be able to finish the job that they've already started. And then there's Kaizer Chiefs, my favorite, beloved Kaizer Chiefs, who had a very awkward game in Angola. What's the name of the team again now? What is it? Cabasco. Yeah, Cabasco. Chiefs failing to get a win against the Angolans. 1-0 they lost. Cabasco from Angola. That game ending 1-0 in favor of Cabasco. These are the preliminary qualification rounds. So if Kaizer Chiefs fail to eliminate this team or to win in the next in the second league, then it means the Chiefs won't be able to participate in the Confederations Cup. They've just made this job difficult for themselves, and I have to say this was a very awkward game for Kaizer Chiefs. It just did not click. There were patches here and there where it looked promising, and then it just was. I think against a team like that, and not disrespect to Cabasco, when a team beats you and they've they've outplayed you, or they've outsmarted you, it's kind of easier to accept defeat and say, it looks we were nowhere near close to them. But this was not a team that was all over Kaizer Chiefs, or they were smarter than Kaizer Chiefs. They just, they held on until they had a good opportunity from a substitute, first touch, first goal, and that's it. Smash and grab. That's what they did. Kaizer Chiefs they look disorientated. We look completely disorientated in that game. It was a very awkward game and a difficult game to watch. I don't want to lie. We looked very disjointed from the middle of the park, from the back to the middle of the park. The goal that was scored, similar to the goal we conceded against Sekhukhune United, the first goal we conceded against Sekhukhune United. Another miscommunication between Paseka Marco and Aiden McCarthy, allowing the striker to head the ball, because between the two of them, if they had communicated and Aiden had intentionally left the ball for Marco, then Marco would have probably been able to clear that goal, or just communicate so that they are both aware who is around them, what kind of danger is around them. The same, I think, when it comes to as our left-footed centre back, Aiden McCarthy, he does not have the right chemistry with Paseka Marco. They may be good individually, but it doesn't work when they work as a team. I think they need to work on their chemistry. It's just not there right now. It's really not looking good. So there are times where Aiden has to cover the left back. There are times where Marco has gone way too far ahead. And I don't think the communication is just right. It's just not working. We conceded 3 goals last time, and the first goal was because of the miscommunication between them. Again, this time around, both of them they were unable to communicate, and they failed to clear the ball, and we ended up conceding a goal. Awkward game of football, that one. That was a difficult one to watch for me. I don't want to lie. I don't know how it's going to pan out for Kaizer Chiefs, because now they've got their work cut out for them in the second leg of this game. It's a must win. It's a must win. Based on what I saw today, I'm not even sure if we'll be able to pull it through. But with also the chaos that's happening at Kaizer Chiefs with regards to the technical team, the coach, Chiefs are not telling us everything. They're just telling us this is an internal thing. Journalists are telling us Nabi has been sabotaged. We're hearing there's a lot of negative energy around Kaizer Chiefs right now. So it's not nice. We're back to the frustration of Kaizer Chiefs over the past 10 years. Yes, we were able to snatch a trophy last season, but it's back to the pain that we've been going through over the past couple of seasons. I hope they sort it out. I really hope they do, and I hope that we're back to where it looked like we're going at the beginning of the season. That was an awkward game. I don't really want to even re-look at the highlights of that game. It was a terrible game to watch. We'll see what happens in the second leg, and then now let's get into the Premier Soccer League, PSL, the Betway Premiership. I want to talk about Sekhukhune United, and then I'll talk about Mamelodi Sundowns. I did not watch the Sekhukhune United game. I did watch the Mamelodi Sundowns game, but I saw the results of Sekhukhune United, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember. They are having a wonderful beginning of the season. 7 games now played. Okay, we'll keep on saying no, they're just holding on. It's still too early. It will be too early until when? It will be before you know it will be 10 games. That's a third of the season gone. That's 3 games from now will be 10 games into the season. That's the third of the season, and before you know it, it's half of the season, and Sekhukhune United are busy accumulating points and challenging for the league. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, and I really like to see it happening. I just hope Eric Tintler is able to maintain this momentum, and he's able to manage injuries and suspensions when he has to face those kinds of situations. But I don't think Sekhukhune United have ever had a better beginning of the season than they've had this season. They've played 7 games, they've won 6 and drawn 1. They've only dropped 2 points, 1 draw against AmaZulu. Already they've played Chiefs and Pirates, and they've collected maximum points against those 2. I can't wait to see them play against Mamelodi Sundowns. That's going to be a big game. It's definitely going to be a top of the table clash when those 2 meet. I really can't wait. It's definitely starting to look like it's going to be a mouth-watering game, especially with Eric Tintler at the helm of this team. Eric Tintler is a very smart coach. With the right resources, I'm pretty sure he can show us wonders. I just hope he has the right resources at Sekhukhune United. It looks that way anyway right now. So our interests, where many of us are going to be interested and focusing on Sekhukhune United going forward, especially if they keep up this kind of performance. It's a good one for them. And then there's Mamelodi Sundowns. I think Mamelodi Sundowns, the last game of this of the evening that I watched, I was able to watch this one from the beginning until the end. I felt like when I was watching it, okay, first half was not like the two halves were different. But the first half, we saw Sundowns being under pressure, conceding the first goal, coming back to equalize. And then the second half, it was just a Sundowns show. It's as if in the second half, they had our criticism that we leveled against them in the previous game where they drew 1-1. And then they stepped it up. In the second half, boy, did they look like Mamelodi Sundowns. They just looked... in the second half, you just watched them and said, this is Mamelodi Sundowns. It looked like the Mamelodi Sundowns. So I was impressed. Even though I don't like Sundowns, but I was really impressed with how they actually handled that particular game. Winning by 3-1 at the end of the day. Also, Durban City, I feel, had they been able to convert that penalty, they got a penalty in the first half. Was it in the first half where they could have made it 2? Because it was 2-1, I think, in the first half, yes. And they could have made it 2-2, and they got a penalty and they couldn't convert from the spot. So unfortunately for them, that meant they go into, yeah. So they went into the first half by trailing by one goal. It was 2-1. They missed the penalty in the 44th minute. It was a perfect time for them to equalize. They came back and they really tried, but unfortunately Sundowns were just too strong for them. And there were these things that Mangoba used to speak about, and I don't hear Cardoso talk about the speed with which they move the ball from the middle of the park to the final third. And I think Letlaku is very smart. He's able to know when to speed it up and when to slow it down. You obviously slow it down when you don't think there's enough people up front or to receive a ball in a good position. You slow it down a bit to allow your other players, your teammates to be able to go up front so that you can play it. And you speed it up if you feel like you can outnumber them or you can outmaneuver them. And he's very good with that. When he drifts into the center, allowing Arthur Sales, we saw them, Arthur Sales going to the right, Arthur Sales being on the right, and then Letlaku being in the middle. Sometimes that happened, and then there would be Maurice on the left. But they would interchange every once in a while. You'd find that one is on the other side, especially between Arthur Sales and Letlaku. Letlaku would come to the center and Arthur Sales would go to the right. And sometimes Arthur Sales would be in the middle of the, playing more behind Reyners and Letlaku on the right-hand side. But what I liked is when Letlaku was more in the central role behind Reyners. When he did that, he did an amazing job, Letlaku. He had this thing, and he did it more. He did it before, a number of times before they scored the goal. Before the goal was scored, the third goal. I want to talk more about the third goal. And I think Sundowns, when they do that, and if they capitalize on that, it's going to be very difficult to stop them. It's going to be very, very difficult to stop them. He has this touch where he can touch the ball, he can receive the ball and turn at the same time and release it as if in one move. He can do all of that. If you have a chance, go watch the third goal and you see what I'm talking about. It's difficult to defend against that. I saw Reyners receiving that ball. There was this telepathic communication between Reyners and Letlaku. Letlaku was able to do 3 things in one move: receive the ball, turn, and release the ball. It's as if it was one move. It was so smooth. And while he was doing that, without even looking at him, Reyners was running, was making a run that to allow himself to receive a through ball, and one touch, the ball was at the back of the net. The third goal, that's what I'm talking about. It was a beautiful move. And then Teboho Mokoena, so that you can see what I'm talking about, that it's going to be difficult. Teboho Mokoena tried to play the same ball, but what Teboho Mokoena does, he receives the ball, he pauses, he turns, then he makes probably a a step or two. He takes one step or two steps. By the time he releases the ball, it's either it's going to be intercepted or Renas is already surrounded by defenders, so it's difficult even when he receives the ball, he can't really go to the goals. He probably has to receive the ball and take it to the right or to the left. And I felt like if Letlaku really continues doing what he did from that position, whether I'm pretty sure he can even do that from the flanks, but from the center of the pitch, from the center of the field, I think it works even better. I was more impressed by the third goal than any other thing there. I just felt like, how do you defend against that? Because it's a speed of lightning, just like that. Before you know it, the ball is at the back of the net. It looked like the Mamelodi Sundowns. It looks like Sundowns are stepping up. They can see that we've now reached the business part of the league. We're not at the beginning anymore. The more points you lose, the more Sekhukhune United are gaining ground. And Eric Tintler will and his team would have tasted blood. They would really want to go and make a meal out of this. But for those of us who are watching, we're probably going to enjoy this. Yes, there are those of us who are not enjoying it because of our teams not doing so well. But we will see what happens. I'm not sure about the Q innovation. Is the Q innovation still on? Because if it is on, probably that means Sekhukhune United will win it. Oh, the first quarter has 8 games, so they are 1 game away from finishing the first quarter of the season, which would mean they win the Q. They'll probably be, I don't think, over the past number of seasons, it's just been Sundowns winning all these Q innovations. So I don't know if this, I've not been really following it, if it's still there, because I don't hear a lot of noise about it. But that will do Sekhukhune a lot of good, especially with the financial injection that comes with it. But it really remains to be seen as to whether Sekhukhune can maintain the pressure that they're piling up on these other teams at the top there. Otherwise, this has been Fans Corner. Thank you for making time for us. We will meet again in the next one. Thank you for your support.